Welcome to the Steve Wilmot Show. The Chamonix Redskins head coach Steve Wilmot. I'm Sean Lerman. This week's show brought to you by Faulkner View at GMC Cadillac and Aria Health. Remember, you can watch every Neshaminy football game this season at Sandy's Beef and Ale on the big screen TV, and tune in at WBCB1490.com for the Trentonian pregame show every Friday at 6:45 p.m. Neshaminy coming off of a very big win, still undefeated on the season after defeating the CB South Titans 42-14. Coach, this was a game that going into it, a lot of people had marked as the game of the week. CB South was 5-1. Neshaminy still undefeated. So the game not necessarily as close as some people thought it might be, but it's certainly good to get a test against a team like CB South.
Yeah, I think the game was a little closer than the score indicated. We kind of got one or two at the end. They were a good team. They were a good physical team. It was a good test for us. I think in the end, I think Mason Jones was a little bit of the difference, as far as executing our offense. I was happy that our offensive line held up against their very good defensive front, and it was good. It was a good homecoming win for us.
Right, so it was the homecoming game. So how were all the festivities? I wasn't there on Friday. I was homesick, so you got to tell me what I missed.
Well, every year at Neshaminy, they have these little homecoming booths that all the different clubs around Neshaminy, they sponsor. I think there's a pie in the face of their favorite teacher or whatever. And I got to tell you the truth, I don't know what there is, but I know there's a pie in the face. But there's a lot of activity on the one side of the field, and then there's the homecoming court and all that kind of stuff. And then for the first year, I think in a while, Neshaminy had a homecoming dance on Saturday night that was very well attended. So it was a good weekend for Neshaminy.
I'm sure usually during homecoming at halftime, you probably got some other things that you're generally worried about during the football game. A little preoccupied, I would imagine. Any football players on the homecoming court this year?
Mason Jones was on the homecoming court. Unfortunately, he did not win, but a good kid did win. Obviously, well, sorry, good kid. I'd rather have Mason win, but the vote is in, as they say on Survivor, so you have to live with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, usually the homecoming court always mixes a good mix of athletics and academics, and often goes to the right person. But it's a shame for Mason that he wasn't able to get it this year. So let's get back to the game a little bit. You said that the team did well against CB South's front there. In a little bit more detail, what did you see out of the team?
All year on all their film that I watched, I saw two very active linebackers. They're brothers. One's a senior, one's a 10th grader. I saw them making a lot of plays on film, and I think we blocked them at times, and I think the run-pass option that we ran, I think, was effective at kind of neutralizing them. I wouldn't say we took them out of the game, but I think we got them thinking a little bit of what we're going to do. We ran the ball. Okay, we'll ran the ball hard, and also Mike Crescenzo ran the ball hard, and then we were able to complete some passes too. So it was again, when we sat down at the beginning of the year and kind of dreamt up this offense, I think it was this offense and Mason executing it was very well suited against their very good defensive front.
Now, what about on the other side of the ball? Obviously, holding them to 14 points, a nice defensive effort by Neshaminy.
Nice defensive effort. They had some good plays, good players on offense. They did, and a couple of their good players had some good plays because that's what good players do. I think our defense rallied when they had to. We gave up some yards, but at the end of the day, when we needed a play, we made it, and that's what I'm most happy about.
One of those plays, I saw Jake Gordon with another interception. He's been racking those up over the last few weeks.
Yeah, Jake, again, a nice solid week by him. He was our game captain for last week for his play. And again, everyone in the secondary. Joel Stills, the other corner, I think he was our player of the week. Again, we kind of do this by a point system, so it's not, a coach picking one. It's based on a point, and he was player of the week based on his tackles and his batted balls and stuff like that. And of course, Zach Treadway in the back. They have a dangerous team. They have a lot of speed on that team. They have a really good line, and I was happy that our defensive line kind of held up, and we made tackles when we had to. We batted some balls down when we had to also.
All right, this is the Steve Wilmot Show. Neshaminy this coming week will take on my Ben Salem Owls. That's my alma mater, so that should be a fun one. Ben Salem a little bit better this year than usual. We'll get into that when we come back. Steve Wilmot Show presented by Aria Health and Faulkner View of GMC Cadillac. Back with more after this.
ER Express is the newest online reservation system for patients in Bucks County with non-life-threatening illnesses or conditions to reserve a time online to be treated at ARIA's fast care, urgent care, or emergency departments. ER Express streamlines evaluations so patients are treated more quickly, and best of all, it holds your reservation while you're in the comfort of your own home. Please remember, patients who experience major injuries and traumas should always go immediately to the emergency department. Reserve your spot online now with ER Express. Visit ariahealth.org/ER-Express. That's ariahealth.org/ER-Express.
Sandy's Beef and Ale has been serving famous hand-carved roast beef sandwiches since 1967. Sandy's Beef and Ale is located in the Woodburn Square Shopping Center next to the Oxford Valley Mall. Stop in anytime for not only the roast beef sandwiches, but also the patty, the tailgater, and the Cuban. Family and friends have been coming to Sandy's Beef and Ale since 1967. 2028 Old Lincoln Highway, the home of the hand-carved sandwich.
If you are looking for a new car, where do you go? Faulkner Auto Group at 4427 Street Road in Trevose is where to go. For the best deals in Bucks County for all of your new or pre-owned cars, trucks, or SUVs, go to Faulkner Auto Group. It is always Faulkner to be sure. You can also always go to www.faulknerautogroup.com. Just remember, this year it's Faulkner Auto Group for your new car or truck. 4427 Street Road in Trevose to be sure. Faulkner Auto Group, 215-364-7720. Faulkner Auto Group, a proud supporter of Neshaminy High School football.
Welcome back to the Steve Wilmot Show with Neshaminy Redskins head coach Steve Wilmot. I'm Sean Lerman. This week's show brought to you by Aria Health and Faulkner View at GMC Cadillac. On Friday night at 6:45, we'll go live for the Trentonian pregame show on WBCB1490.com as the Redskins take on the Ben Salem Owls. You can watch that game live on the big screen at Sandy's Beef and Ale. Coach, Ben Salem, a lot of recent years has been one where you probably look at the schedule and say, all right, there's a win. You can probably mark that one down. This year, that certainly hasn't been the case. The Owls a little bit better than in previous years, 4-3 on the season. So what do you expect to see out of them on the offensive side of the ball?
On the offensive side, they run a triple option attack. I've been saying this a couple different times. I really like their offensive line. I think they really have some good players. They battle up front. They run a triple option type of offense, kind of what Truman runs. They got two fullbacks in the run, in the back behind the quarterback that can run the ball. They got a very, very dangerous quarterback who's got a lot of speed and a lot of athletic ability. And they have two running backs on the side that like to run. That if you let them run around the outside, that they're going to run. So they're very dangerous on offense. Again, the offensive line, obviously the guys in the back obviously get a lot of attention. The quarterback and the fullbacks, they deserve a lot of attention. But I really like the way that their line blocks. I think they do a really nice job.
Now, what about on the defensive side of the ball? What do you expect to see out of them?
They're going to run a pressure-style, triple-stack defense. So 3 linemen, 5 linebackers, and they bring blitzes from all different directions. And they run a pressure-style offense. They run mostly zone behind it. But they're trying to get to the quarterback early and often, I guess I should say.
Now, so we talked a little bit about how in previous years not quite as good. What has been, do you think, the biggest difference in Ben Salem this year being a little bit more successful?
I just, I know their coaching staff. I know they put a lot of time in, but they got players, and that's what it boils down to. You got to have the players, and they do. They have the players on the lines. They have the athletes at linebackers, athlete in the defensive backfield. They have players. They have big physical kids, and they have players. I think I said.
That's what it comes down to a lot of times. I think in Ben Salem, in a lot of a lot of recent years, including when I was there, a lot of Ben Salem athletes would go to different schools in the area. They'd go to the Conwell Eagles, Holy Ghost, those types of schools, which made it a little bit tougher for the Owls. So like you said, they've got players there now that can be competitive. And what would you say is going to be the biggest challenge for your team going into this game?
Shutting down the fullback and containing the quarterback. I think are our two biggest challenges on defense, and obviously on offense, handling their blitz, I guess, is the best word I could possibly use. Handling their blitz, again, they bring people from all different directions. A lot of times the defensive linemen don't get in stances. They're kind of up and they're trying to make you guess what gap they're going, and then they fill it later. Just kind of handling their blitz on our offensive side of the ball, their defensive side of the ball would be a big thing also.
So when they've got guys moving around, you're not exactly sure where the blitz is coming from. Does that put a little more pressure on AJ at center? Is he the one responsible for calling that stuff out?
Yeah. AJ's. We have rules we plug in versus even fronts, and rules we plug in versus odd fronts, and we put a lot of pressure AJ. At the end of the day, they have a nose guard on most defenses. Some defenses they don't. So yeah, AJ's responsible for blocking the nose guard, and again, AJ's probably outweighed by over 100 pounds this week. But he's a guy that's proven that he can handle it.
Yeah, he's certainly used to that at this point. He's beaten people with smarts all year and really knowing how to play the game. All right, Coach, well, thank you very much. This has been the Steve Wilmot Show. The Neshaminy Redskins head coach Steve Wilmot. I'm Sean Lerman. Neshaminy, as we mentioned, taking on Ben Salem Friday night, 7 o'clock p.m. kickoff. Watch it live, WBCB1490.com, starting with the Trentonian pregame show at 6:45. This week's show has been brought to you by Aria Health and Faulkner Review with GMC Cadillac. You can watch Friday's game at Sandy's at Beef and Ale. So until next week, have a good one.